Hello, everyone. Welcome and happy 2022 to the PIPCAST 3000, a bi-weekly podcast every other Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, where we talk about gaming news and Fallout and other things related to gaming and nerdy stuff. I'm Caedo Genesis. This is my co-host, Bad Company Sarge.
Hello there.
And I have no idea where this podcast is going to go today because we're thinking of just doing like a Fallout 76 kind of roundup thing because it's episode 76 and we implied that, you know, the 76th episode was going to talk about 76 in some capacity, so that's what we're going to do. No promises on where the topic's going to go.
Before that, though, is a whole bunch of news.
A whole bunch of news that's some of it's good. Yeah, most of it's kind of negative.
Yeah.
I've
made sure we end on a positive one.
Yes, and I really like the line you chose for it. Anyway, we have a tip of the day first. Mm-hmm. What is the tip of the day, Sarge?
So you know how in the new year everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a resolution where I go to the gym every day or I learn Spanish in a week and all of that stupid stuff. And they all fall through and we're all failures. You're a failure, you hear me?
Yeah.
Instead of that, why not do themes instead?
Themes?
Yes, so this is an idea which the YouTuber CGP Grey pitched and which I have clung on to because... resolutions are bad for two reasons. First up, it's, I'm going to do a thing in this year. A year's too long a span of time, really.
Yeah.
We were literally just looking at the episode of the PIPCAST we made a year ago. We didn't remember any of it. Like, you do not remember stuff that happened a year ago. That's just fact.
I mean, I already have really bad memory anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to remember how... like you told me on multiple occasions, like how we got to know each other and how we ended up doing a podcast together. I have no idea. I keep forgetting.
I remember the first part of it. I don't know how the podcast came about, to be honest, but I remember the first time we interacted. But yeah, time is blah, blah, blah.
Time is stupid.
So, yeah, that's too long. Plus, resolutions tend to be a very, like, solid thing, like I'm going to go to the gym every single week. And sometimes things happen which stop that. So, resolutions just suck. Specifically, like, I made the resolution of, like, making in-person friends as my 2020 resolution. Come on. Like, resolutions are just bad. So instead, what I'm going for... and what I'm suggesting to all of you is monthly themes. So each month of the year, you structure it around a theme. So, for example, my theme for January is the month of streaming. Now, what that ideally means is that I'll be doing plenty of live streams. I'll get back into that whole thing. But maybe my internet, like, crashes, or I just feel terrible and not being entertaining for people, or something like that. It's fine. I've not failed. I just need to change it to something else, like maybe creating stream assets, like working out how to make overlays so I have that skill set in the future. Or maybe I can just, like, go to other people's streams and work on being more interactive and that kind of thing. There's plenty of ways to pivot with themes, because they're a lot looser than resolutions.
Yes.
So instead of I'm going to the gym every single week, you can have a theme of fitness, where you try and get healthier. And even if there's like an injury or something that comes up which stops you from being able to work out all the time, maybe you could just research diet and work out what the correct diet is for you. It's a lot more flexible, it's in manageable chunks, like I'm doing it by a month, but if you want longer, you could go for like 3-month things and just have 4 themes throughout the year, or you could even go for weekly themes if you're crazy and can keep up to date with that. Like, it's a lot more
That's
custom.
insanity.
Yes, but themes better than resolutions. And that's the longest of the day we may have ever had.
How I imagine it is, like, you can usually figure out, like, what you want to do to better yourself without, like, stating outwardly, this is my goal. I'm gonna go do this thing. And instead, like, Sarge was promoting as an idea, is segmenting that out into 12 different things you can do to work towards that one thing.
Yep. It's a lot easier to see, like, the gains within the space of a month.
Yeah, which is good. Maybe I'll make one of the months a social media month where I actually figure out how to do it consistently enough.
So that's a solid one.
Posting on Twitter at the very least. The bot's already helping me with that, just reminding me that my Twitter exists. So that's helpful. But it's always one of those and community posts also. Like when those are active on my channel and around the same time as a video being posted, the video does do a little bit better than if I don't. So just little things. Just do little things for yourself. It's good.
Yes. And you can do any number of themes. If you have a good theme, feel free to post it in the comments. Yeah. I've got 11 more months worth of themes to fill. But guess what? I don't have to worry about the next month until close to the end of this one.
Yeah.
So I got
it's all about that short term.
Yeah. Like actual manageable goals that can be achieved. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's enough positivity. Caedo, what's the negative comment of the cast?
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So our last episode 75, was unpopular opinions. Go listen to that. At least the topic, if you haven't already, because it was surprising. There was surprisingly little in the comments related to unpopular opinions, and I know people have them.
Yeah. No one was arguing with me in that one.
Yeah.
Like, often I'll be like, everyone come and argue with me. I didn't think I need to say it that time, but apparently I did. So please do argue with me in the comments.
Yeah.
Not about themes, though. I'm right on this. I will not budge.
So the amount of people to pick from was actually pretty short. We were split between the NFT one and the Fallout 2 one. I chose the Fallout 2 one. So Mr. Jarvis, you're the winner of the comment of the cast.
Ooh.
So Mr. Jarvis's unpopular opinion is Fallout 2 was ruined by humor. Cringy Monty Python references every 2 seconds, dated political commentary, and constant fourth wall breaks. Say what you want about Bethesda Fallout. Fallout 2 feels like it was written by edgy college graduates that finally discovered intercourse.
He does not say intercourse.
People complain about Fallout 3, 4, and then go on endlessly about how bleak Fallout was. Fallout 2 was a crap show, and I can't replay it. I prefer 76 to Fallout 2, to be honest. Fallout 1 was great. Making Fallout 2 great would have been a walk in the park, and they almost had it. Well, I don't know, maybe it's just a preference thing. Like, maybe you feel the same way about Fallout 2 that I feel about Atom RPG. Like, the bones of the game are freaking great, but when it comes down to like the constant references and stuff that is just like, I want to know about the world, not about pop culture kind of thing. Like, if it's that vibe that you were getting, that's fine. That makes sense. I get it, but I still love Fallout 2.
Burn! Oh! You got home, Mr. Jarvis.
Oh, no.
No, that was genuinely quite an interesting unpopular opinion to hear.
Yeah. I thought that was a really good one.
I rarely hear negative stuff about Fallout 2 as well.
For real.
Especially from someone who enjoys Fallout 1. I think that's quite interesting. Because there's plenty of people like myself who just struggle with the gameplay of the classics. And for us, it's just like, yeah, I'd like to play it, but I don't click with that stuff. And that's about it. And then you have a lot of people who are like, oh, classics are the best! And you don't often hear too many people in the middle. So, middle people, you're my favourites.
This is probably the very first of this type of opinion that I found, too, or that I've seen. So, good on you, Mr. Jarvis, for being different. It may have been, like, earlier on, like, before Bethesda started making Fallout games, like, maybe this was a more common thing going around, but as of now, like, people are just talking trash on the newer ones. So yeah, 4 and 76 are bad, worst games.
Yeah, terrible.
They're good games, but bad Fallout games. Whatever. Good game, a bad RPG.
Yeah,
heard that so much.
Man, hate all these bad RPGs.
Well, we're gonna keep buying them. Just like people are gonna keep pushing other things to buy, like NFTs.
There we go.
Let's jump into the news.
Woo.
This one's kind of hilarious.
I've decided to add in transition music.
Okay.
And so you jump into the news transition.
Via Kotaku, here's a quick one. Here's a quick one from Kotaku. Twitch co-founder gets Discord hacked. $150,000 stolen from users in NFT scam. So, even officials, no matter the platform, can have their communities scammed. As Twitch reporter Zach Busey has detailed, the message, which appeared legit since it was coming from inside the house, had actually been posted by someone gaining access to Fractal's Discord bot, pointing towards Fractai, not Fractal. The scammers managed to sell 3,294 NFTs before the plug was pulled. So a bunch of people got scammed, basically.
Yep. Because there weren't on NFTs, there was just paying for nothing.
Yep.
Or maybe there were NFTs and you were just paying for nothing.
Yeah.
What's the difference again? Oh, it's the receipt. These people were so angry they didn't get a receipt.
It's a receipt to prove there was a transaction. Totally different.
Dare they? Also, every time I see, like, scams and stuff like this being just so readily eaten up, I always do worry about, like, the average person's, I'm not sure quite how to say it, understanding and spotting of falsehoods in the world. I'll put it that way. Like, you shouldn't be getting yourself scammed. You should always try your best to avoid it. I think somewhere in this post they mentioned the too good to be true kind of rule, where if something's too good to be true, it is almost always.
Yeah.
And, like, always search into any financial stuff you're doing if it's not, like, 100% above the board in the most obvious ways possible. Just don't get scammed.
Yeah. Man, I don't really have anything else to add on to that besides just be skeptical when you get invitations for things to spend your money on.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I think both of us see quite a bit is, like, in Discord, someone will post, like, oh, watch out for this user, they're scanning people, at everyone, letting you all know, kind of things.
Yeah.
And it's always like, well, their name isn't really going to help unless someone's just been messaged by them at that one moment. And generally the rule is, if some random sends you a link or suspicious stuff, don't click it.
Yeah.
That's just the blanket rule to go with.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's one of those, it's not under netiquette, is it? I don't think it is. It's more just like a general rule of thumb if you're going to be on the internet kind of thing. I mean,
I have a very cruel phrasing for it as the evil person I am, which is don't be a dumbass.
Yeah. That's
because
Debata.
I'm evil.
That's the shorthand of it. Debata.
I don't like the shorthand version of that.
we had Debata awards in trade school.
Yeah.
So, like, if some students at trade school were blatantly breaking some rules, and got kicked out for said rules, they would get a Debata award, and then be used as an example for everyone else to not do that thing. Like, for one example, there was somebody decided to smoke weed in the smoke box and left whatever was left of it in the ashtray.
Oh dear.
And got caught. Eventually. It's just dumb stuff. Anyway, Debata. Let's go on to the next thing. Another thing related to non-fungibility.
Yeah. So everyone remembers the trusted developer who, like scammers, would never lie to you. Peter Molyneux.
This is SimCity Man? Who is he?
Did he actually make SimCity? He's done, like, a bunch of simulation style games. Wasn't he Fable? Well, let's double check. I'm pretty sure he does.
Driving Force and great studios like Bullfrog and Lionhead.
What's Inside the Cube?
Ah, yes. Yeah, that was a scam too.
Yeah, Goddess, which also had issues. Populous was like one of his old ones, which is basically Goddess, but ages ago. Yeah, he's he's kind of famous for making games that just have these huge issues, more so in the marketing and presentation than necessarily with the game itself. Like, he'll just make these grand, huge claims, and none of them actually go through. He's also got an OBE. How do you get an OBE? Yeah. What? Hold up, I'm on his Wikipedia page. I need to check this.
I was gonna offer up a more recent example.
Yes.
No Man's Sky, when that was first being promoted, about all the things that you could possibly do, but Hello Games actually followed through. Whereas
in the end, took a little while, but they got there.
Did not.
Yeah, he says something's gonna happen, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and he gets clowned on quite a bit. Like, yeah, I think this is the first time though where he's kind of done something that's a little closer to the Peter, you're stepping out of line style of things. Like, normally he's like, oh yes, and this is all going to be amazing, and you'll be able to speak to the characters and they'll reply in real time, or some crazy stuff like that. And everyone who isn't being a dumbass knows that it's like, no, Peter, that's not going to happen. It's what? Fair enough.
Did we share what the actual thing is already?
No, that's what I was transitioning into with that sentence.
Oh, we've got to say it.
Yeah. He is making a game. Yay! That's on blockchain link technology. Why is no one cheering? Why didn't I hear anyone cheer?
Whoa.
Yeah, so his next project, called Legacy, will incorporate blockchain technology and NFTs. So this article from PC Gamer says, Legacy is a business sim where you build products in factories and construct a town around your chosen industry. Think SimCity on a more granular scale. Easy. And, yeah. It says, thanks to the blockchain, of course, the suggestion you'll be earning real money from your gameplay. Which isn't going to happen. Just isn't going to happen. But the thing is, the blockchain integration is where you, like, buy NFTs within the game, which let you start a blockchain business in association with the game. So you'll earn money by playing the game. How cool is that?
Ugh.
But yeah, there's now also a new cryptocurrency called Legacy Coin, which is on the Ethereum blockchain, so you know it's legit. And it says here, which complies with the tried and trusted ERC20 token standard. I'm sure all of us have heard people like talking about crypto and blockchain and NFTs, and how the sentences have like one word in 5, which is actually like not made within the past few years. It's horrible.
Yep.
But yeah, Molyneux was already like making this game outside of blockchain and all that stuff, just as a game which sounds perfectly fine. And he was then phoned up by a friend, and the quote is, "We came to realise I had developed a game perfect for crypto gaming. Every mechanic in Legacy was tailor-made for the blockchain environment."
You can say that about literally everything, because everything can be part of an economy. Like,
yeah. I mean, we could make this podcast perfect for the blockchain environment.
Yeah,
we can make
sure
it so that you have to buy NFTs in order to listen to the podcast.
Yep.
And then your NFTs have a purpose of letting you listen to us talk about how much we hate NFTs.
I could make an NFT of this freeze frame right here.
Wow. Okay, we're going to start it at 0.3 Ethereum, nice and cheap for all of you.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah. Games have economy systems. Like, they all have had something related to numbers or a goal or something like that. Like, it can be incorporated in any way. Saying that is just saying nothing. It's stupid. It's really dumb. Really dumb.
Fingers crossed this is like a one-off stupid thing that's going to happen. The fear here, I suppose, is that more shady developers and companies will be like, we can make NFT games? We're going to make NFT games. And it'll be a new step in the microtransaction.
Yeah, it's just a rich exec setting an example, a bad one, Like, hey, check it out, I can print money, look at that. And then other people are just like, oh, interesting, just have to incorporate NFTs, huh? So horrible. I'm exhausted by NFTs at this point.
Yeah. It's all right. We've got over the worst part of the news now. Let's start going on the up, eh?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I stumbled upon a Skyrim documentary by Jonah Loeb, who is a former Bethesda employee, as well as several other former Bethesda employees that all kind of did a get together. Total of 9 developers recounting the making of Skyrim. And you can tell that all of them had a passion for making it as good as they could. And that kind of passion is kind of almost exclusive to what you see in indie developers when you see them, bright-eyed and ready to sell their dream to the world, kind of thing. But seeing that from the Skyrim people that were part of the Skyrim team is actually a pretty cool thing, which obviously ultimately resulted in one of the best games of all time. So I don't know, I highly recommend checking out the Skyrim documentary. It's on Jonah Loeb's channel. Former what was his title? I'm gonna feel bad. He did model work.
I know he's some
artist,
kind of
artist, educator, author, and game designer. Doesn't really say what his role was, but anyway, really cool. He's the one that designed the giants after his father, and many other creatures in Skyrim. I think all the way back to Fallout 3, I believe. Really cool documentary if you want to learn about what it was like on the other side of the curtain, the development of Skyrim, and there was kind of a little bit of competition going on between artists and developers that actually promoted them making themselves better in the process, which they really, really enjoyed.
Healthy competition.
Yeah, the healthy kind. That's just like, I want the best to come out of your brain, so I'm gonna try to one up you, kind of thing. And I think that's really awesome. But yeah, seeing how much they cared about each other too during the whole process is awesome as well. You can tell they were a tight-knit development team. Yeah, I think that's. Did you see it at all, Sarge?
I haven't watched it, hence I'm not speaking much
all
here. Right. Sorry.
Well, Sarge and the rest of you should watch the Skyrim documentary because it's great.
I'll get around to it, I'm sure. Give me a year.
February's theme is Skyrim. We start with the Skyrim documentary.
No, there's already been enough theme Skyrim.
The whole year is Skyrim.
That's more like it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Skyrim has punching in it, doesn't it?
It does. That's your favorite thing, right, Caedo?
It
Punching
is.
people.
Yeah. And
you better hope you
them.
never meet Caedo, or else you're just gonna get a punch in the face. Or no, sorry. That's completely wrong of me. A punch in the groin.
That's right. Check out my Fallout 2 playthrough if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Or what Sarge is talking about.
Yep, endless groin punching. So, yeah, I just saw a little article from PC Gamer about a UFC star called Robert Whittaker, who's become a fully voiced Skyrim companion.
Wow.
And yep, this is a mod. However, it's one of those, like, kind of approved by Bethesda style mods.
An official mod. As official as they can.
Semi-official. Yeah.
As they can be without being Creation Club
yeah. It's,
paid mods?
It's like one step down from Creation Club, maybe? Possibly.
A mod that's not a paid mod?
And it's It's a whole thing.
A mod that you access through the mod menu in Skyrim. There you go.
Cool. But yeah, this fighter is apparently a big fan of Skyrim, and is also a brand ambassador for Bethesda's Australia and New Zealand branch.
Hey.
Which is kind of why he's here, as opposed to it just being a completely random mod that someone made and for some reason we're talking about. But no, he's like fully voiced and stuff. He's got like, it's like, from the sounds of it, quite a well-done mod. So yeah, I just thought Caedo likes punching. This is a story about punching in Skyrim. I'm going to pop this in.
That's cool. I like it. It's too bad it's not official, or I'd go for it.
Yeah.
Oh well, maybe someday we'll still get Skyrim Grandma as an NPC at least in Elder Scrolls 6.
Meant for Elder Scrolls 6, yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked for that.
I'm pretty ambivalent towards it.
Why? Huh?
I just don't really have any opinion about Shirley Curry, really. I've seen some of the videos, but just not for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, an old lady's gonna be in the next Elder Scrolls, huh? That's basically all it comes down to me.
Yeah.
You mean everyone won't be middle-aged or younger? Ah, I see. That's about it.
Grandma Cheryl. Okay. Well, you can still drive like a granny, even if you have a Tesla. However, you won't be able to game while you're driving now, because apparently that was a thing with Tesla vehicles.
Oh. Yeah, that's...
yeah, when they first came into existence, the passenger play feature is able to let anyone in the vehicle play various video games, even when the car is in motion. But Tesla has now agreed to roll out an update to stop people from playing games on the car's center touchscreen console, following pressure from safety regulators in the US.
Yeah.
Imagine that. There's a reason why, and it's all safety reasons, by the way, that only the people in the back seat were able to have access to like a DVD player, like onboard DVD player and stuff like that initially. Yep. And this is kind of the same thing. Like, you can push to have a screen, in the driving section of the vehicle, but it's not safe.
I mean, specifically for playing games part on it.
Screen for playing games and watching stuff, like the dumb stuff you're not supposed to be doing while driving.
It's quite a bad thing. But also, this article says that apparently in the UK, only recently there's been a move to like tighten up laws around mobile phones in cars, because at the moment it's only illegal to call or send a text while driving.
Yeah. So
theoretically, like, watching a YouTube video on your phone while driving technically isn't covered, I guess.
Oh man, does it have to be that specific?
Well, it's the sort of thing where you don't want to, like, get into a court case and have people go, well, I'm afraid the law doesn't actually say this is wrong, and then the person who ran over your entire family because they were distracted just gets out on a loophole. Like, you want laws to, like, have the T's crossed and the I's dotted.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. We had something here, like, in Oregon specifically, but I don't remember what exactly it was. Just making it more strict or more focused. Because it's texting and talking on the phone while driving are still, obviously a problem.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come to mind. I don't remember which, because I don't own a car.
No. Same.
We have public transportation here. I can just... And I also live in the city, so I could just walk where I need to go, or get an Uber, or ride a bus, or a train.
Yep. I live in the countryside, and I've got used to walking 10 plus miles to get to civilization.
Walking is good for you, too.
Yeah. The main reason I put on so much weight in the last couple of years is because I'm not walking into civilization and back anymore. When you walk like 30 miles in a day, it's hard to pack on the pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But, I will say, somewhat tangentially as well, I a little while ago went on a whole, just Google rabbit hole about, like, the difference between driving and roads in the US and America. Because I watched another CGP Grey video. He gets 2 shout-outs in this.
Ooh.
Oh, I should feel so blessed. He'll definitely notice his millions of subscriber count going up from this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But he recently made a video of driving, or having a self-driving Tesla go through the most dangerous road in America. And I watched it, and I looked at that road and went, that's the most dangerous road? Because it looked just like a slightly windy lane style thing over here. And I went down a whole deep rabbit hole about how, like, the roads are like 1,000,000 times safer in America because they're much wider than we have over here in the UK, and there's a lot less corners and bends and, like, 180-degree turns up a hill, which we just have here constantly. But how...
Oh, it greatly depends on where you are.
Yeah, but in general, like, UK roads are not as easy to just casually drive through as US roads. But I did a whole thing searching on that. But we get less, like, accidents and stuff in the UK, because apparently, like, we're so much stricter on, like, driving laws and tests and things like that. So we just don't let people drive on our dangerous roads.
Hey, good. I'm so glad.
You Americans, you're letting people drive on the easy roads.
Let's find out right now. Have you taken the driving certification stuff?
Not for a car. I did
England?
my CBT,
Oh, okay.
which is motorbikes.
Okay. That's a little more involved. Do you know what it takes to get a license in the UK?
I don't know exactly. I know you have to, like, do, like, a actual practical driving exam and do a written theory test.
Okay.
I know there's the 2 parts to it. I'm not sure exactly what it is. What I know is that the CBT was, like, really simple and basic in comparison, but it still required, like, practical riding, going round roundabouts, changing gears, moving through traffic, all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Or starting, doing an uphill start, and stuff like that. And I think you need to, like, parallel park or whatever in the UK, that's, like, a thing. And obviously we have, like, shift stick, or whatever you call it in America. Like, our cars have gears you have to go through, rather than being automatic.
So they're manual transmission.
Manual transmission. Yeah. There's all of that kind of stuff. But I'm afraid I have not done the actual driving test. I have driven. I know how to drive a car, but I've not done the test, I'm afraid.
Gotcha.
Have you?
Yes.
Ah!
Yeah. I got my driver's license again, despite not having a car, because I did also want to rent cars to, go visit my folks and stuff like that. But the written test, like, you only need to take the hands-on driver's exam, it seems like, once, on, like, unless you really, really screw up in a legal sense.
Okay.
From what I understand, I could be completely wrong. But after that point, if you've done your first hands-on test as well as the written the first time, you only need to do follow-ups of the written every, I think it's like 6 or something like that. And the written test is stupidly easy. Like, I did not study at all, and I still passed.
Man.
And I'm not even good. I'm not even an intelligent man. And I passed it just fine. So yeah, the bar is low, pretty low.
Yeah. Man, I've gone through and found, like, the Wikipedia page for the United Kingdom one, and the practical car test each year has a pass rate of around 43%, and the theory has a pass rate of around 50%.
Wow.
Yeah, and I did my CVT twice, because I was very close to passing. Literally, the examiner person was just like, I feel like you could do with a bit more practice, and I kind of like you, so I don't want you to get hit by a car. Which felt like almost a backhanded compliment, something akin to that. But yeah, I did my CBT twice, just to make sure. Because I wasn't great on my first go, and on my second go, said I was a natural, even in counter-steering. I can counter-steer on a motorbike.
Nice.
It's not normally what they teach you in that, but yeah. I was a master who only came off the bike several times practically. Yeah.
Well done.
But no, for the driving test, it's you do the theory, multiple choice and hazard perception, then there's the practical, where you have to do an eyesight test, vehicle safety questions, controlled stop, maneuvers, some general driving, and independent driving. And obviously you need MOTs for your cars, like, every single year. Everything has to be just in there.
That's registration.
It's checking the cars all in working order and there's nothing, like, broken or damaged within it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if we do that. I don't think so.
That was a big thing I saw where it was just like, yeah, in America the cars can be broken. That's fine. But in the UK it's like I think it's every single year you do an MOT.
We did vehicle inspections at my work when I was working in security, because, well, if your security vehicle's not working, then you need to get it to work again.
Man.
But self-owned stuff? Nah, no.
Yeah, that's, well...
Very interesting. Anyway, Teslas, I'm glad that they're disallowing playing video games in the front seat. Because that's stupid and shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yes, that's a very
Especially
dumb
when it's
thing.
capable of playing things like Skyrim and Fallout.
Yeah.
You think you should be in the front seat of a car playing one of those games?
Man.
That's stupid.
Well, apologies everyone for the major tangent there. Let's get back to video games.
Yeah, let's stop talking about cars. Cars are boring.
I found that very interesting, I'll be honest. I love going into, like, all that stuff, but to everyone else, hey, remember Cyberpunk?
Remember
That's big
video
and
games?
flashy.
That game has cars in it.
That game is one where I feel like you need to take a driving test to actually manage the cars.
That's true.
That
or
is
just hire Delamain, be like, take me here, James.
I mean, Delamain is basically a Tesla, but better.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so Cyberpunk, so Caedo, is this a story about it being amazing or about it being terrible? Which one we doing today?
It's financially good.
Best game of the year. Woo!
But it didn't end up on best, like most bestest of their best lists. It got a silver in best of 2021.
That's Steam's best of 2021.
Steam's best of 2021, sorry.
Yes.
And its all-time peak is 830,000.
Yeah, so I've added in, like, Caedo came at me with, like, this Kotaku article talking about, like, how Cyberpunk made tons of money, and then I was like, but can I add on multiple different things? So we have so many granular details to go over, and I was given permission. So this is all Caedo's fault for allowing me to do this.
Yeah.
So I've also linked the Steam's, like, best of the year, where things get, like, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, depending on how much money they make. Because that is the only thing that matters with video games, as we all know. And Cyberpunk made it to silver, so it made a lot of money. But then other games like Sea of Thieves, ESO, Battlefield 2042, New World, all did better in terms of cash. But if we take a look at, like, the Steam charts, like, the peak players of all time for Cyberpunk
was at the very
back in
beginning.
December.
Yeah,
December 2020, 830,000 people playing.
And then it dropped. It had a sheer drop off.
Yeah, January went to 225,000,
January.
February went to 47,000. And those are the three highest months, because it is peaking again, or going up again, with peak players of just over 30,000 in the past month. And yeah, the average player counts are hovering generally, like, around an average of 10k players, which is not that many. There's a very, if you check the Steam charts, there's a very clear, incredibly sharp drop-off like wavering throughout the year for most of 2021, and then leading up to Christmas, just getting like a bit of a resurgence, but nowhere near enough to have like tons of people playing it. Like the actual, if you check the all-time chart, it is just a downward curve, and then you can barely tell that it's moving at all from like a flatline position.
Yeah. What was the high of this month?
High of this month was 30,000.
And that's 30,000 in a day?
Yeah, 30,227 was the peak players. That's the most people that were playing Cyberpunk at the same time. Was 30,227.
Okay. So, from what I'm seeing here, that's still not... it's still okay. Like, it's not...
It's a lot lower than what you'd expect for a game which made back its money within seconds.
Yeah.
And this is the slightly misleading thing about, like, the best of Steam, where it's a case of Cyberpunk is on there because it made so much money in, like, pre-orders and initial sales. And I'm sure they include, like, up to December last year for their ranking for the best of Steam. Because if they did it just from, like, start of January onwards, I'm not sure if Cyberpunk would have made it there. Maybe it did. I don't know how many people picked it up in that month. But, yeah, the best of Steam kind of shows that a bad game can still be ridiculously successful. And I feel like it's always a bit more of a knock-on effect on the next game in the series, or the next, like, associated project that actually suffers. Like, a bad game does not lose money if enough people buy into it at launch.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been 100% the case with Cyberpunk, which I feel kind of bad saying like it's a bad game, but it's definitely not what most people hoped it would be.
Yeah. I will say, even though it's not too much of a comparison, Valheim is getting 10k more concurrent players per day.
Yep. That doesn't surprise me too much.
Valheim is also up at the top, so
yeah,
for best of and most played. And it's a multiplayer survival game compared to a single player RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like, yeah, Cyberpunk's doing very similar numbers to Fallout 4.
Oh.
So average players of 16,733 for Cyberpunk, average players 15,381 for Fallout 4. Then in November, it's 17,000 for Fallout 4 and 10k for Cyberpunk. Yeah, the numbers are pretty close for like
that's a better comparison.
A short time here. But Fallout 4, I'm going through, and we've got data from, like, November 2015, because that's an old game. And it kind of bottomed out after a few months, really, to February 2016, like, the average player count at 32k, and then it goes, like, into 20, 10, 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20, just like, oscillating between kind of 12k at the lowest and 22k at the highest, up until right now. So it's got like that consistent player thing, whereas Cyberpunk had a way sharper drop-off, and while it is going up a little bit, its average player count is like a lot lower despite being much more recent.
It's probably never gonna reach what it got initially because of all the hype.
Oh, it's gonna get nowhere near initially. Like, I doubt it will hit peak players of 100k again. Like, even when a DLC comes out, if a DLC comes out, I wouldn't bank on it hitting that. I will say as well, though, that this is just through Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And Epic Games Store and GOG will have had Cyberpunk as well for PC. So that will distort the numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
As is always the case, but I find Steam charts very helpful for seeing like a trend in how many people are playing over time.
Yeah.
And It was very clear that Cyberpunk did amazingly at launch and then very quickly tapered off. And even with its current resurgence, it's not actually doing that great.
Yeah.
But it made the money, so it doesn't matter.
Yep, but it made the money.
And that's exactly why CD Projekt Red can afford to settle the Cyberpunk lawsuit for $1.85 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've just got so much cash now. So this article talks about, like, how we actually mentioned this a year ago, how this class action lawsuit came up.
Yes.
Against Cyberpunk 2077's launch.
The only reason we knew that we talked about it a year ago was because we looked.
Yep. Yeah, it's so it's a case of 1.85 million. They're willing to settle for that just to kind of avoid court entirely, and that sounds like quite a bit, especially seeing as PC Gamer actually says there's a persistent perception of the company as a scrappy little guy driven by GOG's no DRM posturing, and that it's really only made one game series of note, The Witcher. But in 2020, it became the most valuable video game company in all of Europe.
Yeah, CD Projekt, not CD Projekt Red. Like, this is the corporation we're talking about.
It's got a market valuation of more than 8.1 billion, which is more than Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Like, this is huge.
Yep.
And it mentions that Cyberpunk, had nearly 14 million copies sold in 2020. In 2020, keep that in mind. That's 2 years ago now, technically.
Yeah.
That's like pre-orders and initial sales. More than 14 million. With a profit of the year being 303 million. So the 1.85 million.
That's barely a dent.
Like,
that's not even close to a dent.
So, like, imagine if you were fined $1. That's the kind of thing we're looking at here. Like, yeah, you're having to pay money, but you've still got X amount of money left.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, it was $2.2 million that CD Projekt paid out for the Cyberpunk refund program. So this is still less money than the refunds cost.
Wow.
But then the $2.2 million for refunds and the 1.8 million or 1.85 million is just going to make it so that the 14 million copies sold in 2020, like, that $303 million profit will now be closer to a $300 million profit.
Yeah.
Like, this is such a tiny drop in the bucket.
Yep. Oh well. Well, at least we know what happened with the lawsuit, because that's super important to know, I guess.
I don't think it's actually gone through yet. It's just I just wanted to kind of point out with the whole, like, Cyberpunk is most played and does so great, and then it's just kind of like, it's tons of money. Yep. Tons of money. Just
it's all to be like, money.
I wanted to make us all feel poor. That's it. I was just like, hey, you think you're rich because you got a television?
I think most of the news topics did that just fine, Sarge. Because we talk about NFTs as well.
God, yeah.
Those are for rich people.
Man.
If I'm gonna probably reiterate every time we talk about them too. It's like if you're not a collector, if you're not a connoisseur, whatever other fancy name you can come up with for collecting high value crap, then yeah, you're gonna feel broke. That's okay. We can all feel broke together. At least our souls aren't being sucked out by it.
Speak for yourself.
Sarge.
Let's go on to the positive stuff.
Yay! Let's do it. Oh, is that me? Is that me?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here thinking about all the money that I don't have.
Sarge. I'm gonna go on your Patreon right now.
No. You do not have $300 million to donate. And I will accept not a penny less.
Hades makes history as first game to win a Hugo Award.
Yay, go Hugo.
The article says that the Hugo Awards have been recognizing the best literary works of science fiction and fantasy since 1953, across an evolving set of categories. The category for best graphic story was only added in 2009, and this year's Best Video Game category was included as a one-off. That's what the article says. Who knows? Maybe in the future it'll be a permanent edition.
Yeah. For many, many years there's been like the whole, video games are argument going on.
And what a good example too, by the way. Picking Hades as, as a best game and representative of the artistic side of video games.
Yeah.
Because it's everything. It's literally everything. It's audio design, music, art, painted art style, mythologically based. Like,
yes,
all kinds of cool stuff, and it's just fun to play.
Yeah,
as a movie or book would be fun to experience as well. But you get to do it. You get to do it yourself. You get to give your dad the finger and be like, "Hey, bye." And he's like, "Not so fast, son." Then you die.
It's a fantasy we've all lived out before.
Yep.
It's finally true.
Yep.
Yeah. It's kind of cool to see video games being put into like a category with movies and books and all that other stuff. It's like the slow acceptance of them as just another medium to experience things is happening.
Yeah.
And maybe before we all die, they'll be seen as equals in the wider world between cinema and literature.
Yeah, we'll see. It's very slow. It's a very slow process.
I mean, I was going to say that's why I went with the before we all die, but no. 2022, who knows what it's got in store for us.
Yeah.
Apocalypse hype. Woo!
If video games are still being blamed in courts for things, we've got some progress to make, and that's something again happened recently where that was the case. So it's really annoying. That cursed raps music, that's why all those people died. No, it's not.
Dungeons and Dragons is made by Satanists and your child is worshipping the devil.
That's right.
Why don't you understand this?
Yes. People still believe those antiquated hype pieces. What do you call those even? It's absolute
lies.
It's
they're called lies, Caedo.
They're cleverly crafted lies.
I wouldn't even say they're that cleverly crafted.
They're crafted for the perfect audience.
They're crafted for idiots.
They're crafted for a specific group of people to play to their fears.
I'm not giving credit to them being smart. I'm putting everyone else down by calling them dumb.
Oh, okay. You can do that too. You're welcome to do whatever you want with the situation, Sarge.
If I can do whatever I want, then I'm gonna marry Henry Cavill.
Excellent. I'm glad you took that. And why would you marry Henry Cavill? Why?
We need a why? Have you seen the man? We don't need a why.
I agree, but also why? Is what I'm trying to say.
As I was searching for news stories, I saw this beautiful one of Henry Cavill dreaming of starring in a live-action Warhammer adaptation.
Yes.
So, I'm obviously a Henry Cavill fan because I'm only human.
Yep.
What do you expect of me? Have you seen that man build a PC?
Yep.
I feel like I need to have a shower just after saying that.
Have you seen him be Geralt?
Yep. Witcher Season 2 is out now for anyone who hasn't seen it. It's solid. I enjoyed it.
I still haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's good. I recommend it.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
We're not going to give any spoilers or stuff, but it's solid. I do think I enjoyed Season 1 more, but I don't think Season 2 is worse. I think Season 1 was just, this is more of a novelty because I haven't seen anything of this before.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Season 2 is more of a thing you already like.
Nice.
Yeah, he's obviously done that, and he is a Warhammer fan, specifically Warhammer 40k. I'm more of a fantasy guy myself, but fortunately for me, Henry, obviously we're on first name basis, because he's my fiance, nobody else take him, he's mine. But yeah, he mentions that there are a lot of characters from the Warhammer universe that I want to be, but I can only really be one, because once I'm one, then I can't be others. And then he says, I suppose I could play a different character from the Warhammer Fantasy universe versus the 40k universe, but now I'm just dreaming. And, I don't even know what role Henry would play, but it's just really cool as well to have a celebrity who's into the nerdy stuff, who seems like a genuinely good person. Just, it's nice, you know?
I
nice.
was looking for it too, and I was trying to find like where this Warhammer interest kind of came from, because it initially, I believe, came from a clip of him correcting Graham Norton when he was on his show. And Graham Norton was asking him about like what his nerdy hobbies are, and kind of, you know, making the it's a joke, you're a nerd, kind of situation. And he was confusing World of Warcraft and Warhammer, which, to those of us who are aware, are completely different from each other.
They are very, very different.
And he was talking about, you know, painting miniatures on the show as well. But it became meme worthy when he corrected Graham Norton in a very, you know, Henry Cavill way. So do you want to, I'm going to link you the thing just in case you want to see him shut down this man. Let's see. Yeah, Henry Cavill's a treasure. I hope he gets all of the roles in all of the universes he wants.
Yeah, he does also mention Mass Effect at some point as well, how he'd be down to do something in a Mass Effect universe. He talks a bit about The Witcher as well, and says that he hopes they go to Toussaint, because they exist within the books, and just a cool place and stuff. But he also mentions that he hasn't played the DLC, but was hoping to play it over Christmas time, so maybe he has played it now.
Oh, the Blood and Wine DLC?
Yeah.
He hadn't played it?
No, that's within this article.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it says he also admitted that he's not gotten around to playing either of the Witcher 3's expansions yet.
Oh my God.
Quote here is, I actually haven't played the DLC, the audacity of me. But I'm saying that because I've heard that they are both brilliant, and I'm going to perhaps sit down at Christmas with my nephews and see if we can have some fun there.
Oh man, I bet they did. If they did play it together. Yeah, for sure. I think Blood and Wine is still in my top DLCs of all time. It's just that good. All kinds of...
I've not played it.
Beautiful, colorful, high fantasy with a dark twist.
Yeah. I'm sure it is very good. I just didn't continue my Witcher playthrough after I beat the base game. And then when I went back, I didn't stick with it for too long.
I think it also introduces the Grandmaster armor, which looks sick, as well as...
My Geralt did look pretty dumb for a lot of my playthrough.
But it's like all the money you get from the vanilla game just gets dumped into this armor set. And then also Toussaint gives you the opportunity to dye your armor, so you can have any color scheme you want.
I thought the sentence was just going to end a few words early there.
Gives you a chance to die.
Yeah, Toussaint gives you the opportunity to die.
There's plenty of that, too.
Your armor.
Just jump off of any high point and you'll die. 30 feet off the ground, Geralt's legs will explode his heart after they shatter. That's just how it works.
That was a nice positive thing after all the sadness.
All the bullcrap. There's so much bullcrap that we sifted through. But we made it. We made it through the stories just like we made it through 2021.
Yep, we have totally made it through 2021. We're actually recording this on the 31st, and I'm not certain I'm going to make it to the end of the
Sarge,
day.
we're gonna make
anything could happen. Like, look, if you're listening to this episode of the PIPCAST, hey, we've made it to 2022. But there's a chance the world ends the second it hits midnight after this recording, and you won't hear any of this.
That mysterious asteroid that's 13 million miles away or whatever suddenly changes course and we die.
Yeah. It turns on the nitro. It just goes.
Yep. It's like
wipes us all out.
It's like the Burnout games, but an asteroid.
Yeah. Hey, at least it would be quick.
And it would look awesome.
I mean,
like a Burnout game.
From an outside perspective that none of us would get.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a lot of outside perspectives, right?
Yes.
Like with our topic.
Mm-hmm.
And insider perspective. Introspective? Superspective?
You're gonna have to handle this segue on your own. I have no idea what's happening with it.
Respective. Fallout 76 happened 3 years ago now.
Wow. It's in the terrible freeze now.
Yep.
Little ankle biter.
It's become a toddler.
No.
Is that what happened?
The worst of the human forms.
So we're gonna do kind of like a 76 roundup type thing, just to go over what's happened with 76 over the last year, over 2021.
We can always give the conclusion of 76. Is it poopy pants now? Was it ever good? Greatest Fallout game ever made? Pick just like any of the titles.
Yeah.
No matter which one we pick, there will be some people who are angry.
Yeah, I could pick any question related to Fallout 76 and bad.
I mean, you could literally just put as the title Fallout 76 as a game, and I guarantee there'd be like a comment going, that's not a game. What's your barrier for game?
I'll do something crazy and put the question mark in between the words instead of at the end.
Yeah, because this is episode 76, it seemed fitting to talk a little about 76. So, let's start with the most appropriate thing, I suppose. Caedo, have you been playing 76 much at all in the past half year? Oh, no. Okay.
I'm trying to remember the last time I was playing it. I think it's...
well, I remember the last time I played, because it was earlier in the week. It was back on Monday.
Oh.
Because I was taking photos for wallpapers, and then I quit out as soon as I was done.
Oh, it sounds like you're more qualified than I am.
I've really not played much of it. I think for both of us, we're just not that fussed about playing it so much anymore.
Yeah.
Because we've done all the stuff, pretty much.
We've done all the stuff, and they also set us up to just wait for a new gear grind that's going to happen eventually. Yeah. If they didn't show their hand like that, I'd probably be playing it a little bit more. But at this point, there's not much reason to until 4 stars come into existence.
Any equipment you get now will be theoretically weaker than the stuff we'll be getting in 6 months' time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not been any big updates to 76 since the Steel Rain, or the second half of Steel Rain, or whatever it was, which was early in the year. Can't remember exactly when it was, but it was relatively early in the year. We had the ending to the Brotherhood story, which was good. I think that was some solid content.
Yeah, it was good.
But since then, it has become what I think the default 76 experience is, which is, here's a new scoreboard in which to get consumables and mild upgrades and all of this stuff you'll use, and here's this event that's going on for this month where you worship Mothman or kill Santa dressed up as a Scorched, or maybe the opposite. It's just the default 76. We've had that for the longest time now, I feel.
Yeah.
Because when the game first came out, they were good on getting the updates, lots of small bits of content. And then Wastelanders at the start of 2020 was a huge thing. We had a few big updates, which were nice and chunky and easy to get through, and just kind of digest, basically. But now 76 has hit the point where it kind of just exists as what it is. And while there are updates, the area looting is a good thing. Legendary crafting came about, that's very good. Things do change within the game, but it's minor stuff. It's patches as opposed to DLC.
Yeah.
So 76, I feel at this point it has now hit the stage of, this is what 76 is going to be, and it's very easy, I think, at this point to be do I like this game, yes or no, as opposed to, will I like this game? Because at this point, I don't think there's going to be any huge changes. We will have new stuff coming. Expeditions are the next big thing to look forward to, but that's months away. I still don't know exactly when, but it's a while to wait.
Yeah.
And apart from that, it's just hey, do you enjoy being in this Fallout world, being able to hang out with others, and just grinding for gear and all of that stuff?
Yeah.
Because if you don't enjoy that, then the end game isn't going to be for you. you might still enjoy the story stuff, because there genuinely is like solid story stuff inside of 76.
Yes.
But you do get through it pretty quickly, and it's not the focus.
I should mention too, like, some of the best characters in Fallout, at least one that comes to mind, are in 76.
What character comes to mind?
Beckett. I like Beckett a lot.
Oh yeah, Beckett is good.
Daguerre is pretty good too.
Yep. Astronaut girlfriend.
Astronaut girlfriend.
Yep. Every nerd's fantasy. She's an astronaut, she plays video games, she thinks him really cool.
Also, Graham, being a part of the world, not just a wandering merchant. Yeah. Even though it's, seasonal events. It's still pretty awesome.
A lot of the random NPCs that you come across are quite fun as well. I've seen several people like fan out over the trio of guys pretending to be Brotherhood members and just asking for like donations.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun.
Yeah, but there's some really good like random events that you come into.
Yeah.
I'll say as well, like I'm quite a fan of Rose. She's been there since the start of the game.
Yeah, Rose is pretty
cool. A raider robot who's just a little bit crazy.
Yep.
Is nice. There's solid characters. On top of that as well, I can't remember her name, this is so annoying. The leader of the leader of the Raiders.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of. She, in my mind, is like the first Raider leader who is a good person overall.
Yeah.
And I made a video like years back now, when like shortly after Wastelanders came out, I suppose, talking about like why I had such a hard time choosing between Settlers and Raiders. And I've had quite a few like angry comments from people on that video about like, how dare you even consider Raiders? They're all evil. Raiders are evil. They're scum. They're gonna kill you. They're all evil. And obviously that's how it used to be in Fallout.
Yeah.
But I think with Nuka World we got a bit of a closer look at, not all of them are pure evil, but in Nuka World they still very much are the bad choice, so to speak. They still are bad people, you just kind of understand them a bit more. But then the 76 Crater Raiders, like, some of them are bad, some of them are good but have done bad things to survive, and there's like a bit more of a mix and a bit more nuance, and it isn't like Raiders are the bad guys, Settlers are the good guys. It's not that black and white.
It's nice to have that.
Yeah.
Like a developed Raider faction than just, these guys are evil.
Yeah.
You have every reason to kill all of them.
Enemies.
Whereas this one's got actual redeeming qualities.
Yeah. And they have like positive points of their own, like almost more so than the Settlers in some way. Like the Settlers are very much like default, hello there, survivor.
Yeah.
You are going to help us. This is our little settlement. Kind of like vanilla flavoured thing.
Kind of like Fallout 4.
Yeah. The Raiders, while being a lot worse in some aspects, like they will shoot you and kill you and stuff if you mess with them, they seem to be more inclusive. Like Meg very much stands out, and like the campaign within that is kind of how a set of the more racist, I suppose, raiders in the group who hate like super mutants and ghouls and stuff break off because they don't like how Meg is very much like, hey, we don't care who you are, what your past is, you can have a place here. It seems to be Meg's whole ideology.
And that's the... Oh, I forgot the mutant's name that they have too. But
yeah, I can't remember her.
She takes care of the kid that is basically Tiny Tina.
Yeah, but... I can't remember a lot of the names, but there's the ghoul as well with the raiders, who's like the demolition expert.
Yeah, that's right.
Who's like so worried that he'll hurt the others and stuff, but everyone's just like, no, we love you, man. You're cool.
Also, Weasel, who had the robotic voice.
Yes, Weasel.
The voice modulator thing. Like the Raiders had all these really interesting characters that you would think about offhand, whereas the settlers of Foundation were all just like settlers.
Yeah, they're a bit more of a default good person option.
And one of them had a past with the Chinese special forces, but that's about it. Like
yeah, one of them's parents were secret agents.
Yeah.
Another one's parents were rich people pre-war. Like
not much.
They weren't all bad.
Yeah,
but the Raiders feel a bit more colourful.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's something 76 I think did very well, and I hope continues to the future Fallout games.
Yeah.
Especially if we can dispel the whole raiders are just the bad guys thing. I'd like there to be more nuance in that.
Yeah.
Rather than just default enemy.
Not generic bad guy faction, because we have plenty of those.
Yeah, and you can still have like bad guy raiders. We have the Blood Eagles inside of 76.
Oh yeah.
Who are the bad guy raiders who will attack you. But then there's other raiders who are pretty chill with you most of the time.
They gotta fill out the spawns, but they're not just gonna put the greater raiders everywhere.
No. You can have cultists and like scared people who are just shooting everyone on sight. There's plenty of other factions you can do. That is like that. Honestly, I think that might be one of the best things that 76 has done.
Factions and NPCs?
Well, making like a good raider faction. Just like not making it the same stuff over and over again, which we see so often, although they did have the Brotherhood in it again.
Yeah. But it was also the choice type thing that is
Romani versus Shin.
Yeah,
that whole thing.
The choice that old school versus new school type of choice thing that I did like a lot, because you don't really get that in any of the previous games.
Okay, so Caedo, I don't know if you've got this, because this isn't actually in the outline, but I have the percentages for how many people chose Romani and how many people chose Shin.
Is Romani higher?
What do you think the percentages are, is going to be my question.
Like,
just roughly, you don't forget to spot on, obviously.
70 Romani, 30 Shin.
It is 82% Romani to 18% Shin.
Jeez.
Yeah, it is. Like, most of the stuff in this little stats page I've got is like, oh, everything seems pretty similar and balanced and things. And, like, Raiders versus Settler was, like, I think 52% Settlers, 48% Raiders or something like that.
Yeah, that one was way closer.
Yeah, Romani versus Shin, like 82% of people went with Paladin Romani, who's like,
that's so ridiculous.
Isolate from the other Brotherhood and help other people. 18% went with Shin, and I was one of them. That's like the biggest split I've seen in this game so far.
Man, I want to know if everybody's just okay with Romani being the ultimate god leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, because that's the direction she's going, man.
Yeah. I feel like Shin, because he's so like regimented and order is order kind of thing, I feel like that's what put people off. And Romani has like a coating of, oh yeah, let's let anyone in and just be super nice and stuff. And it's just the nice on the surface. Oh, egotistical megalomaniac
way
underneath.
More to it. You could tell by how she was acting at the radio beacon thing.
Yeah.
You could tell.
I mean,
like,
pro tip for social cues: if someone shoves a spear into a computer, they might be angry or mad or crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, body language too, but more just like any of the being able to make exceptions for any of your possible core values prior is a very slippery slope, especially for something like the Brotherhood. I'm just interested to see like if there's anything that happens, you know, when expeditions are occurring, like if we're gonna see like kind of the aftermath of that decision, or if it's just gonna kind of lock off where it ended this year.
Yeah. So I want to talk about it without spoiling it too much, because I do genuinely think it's a good story to go through.
It is, yes.
But 76 does have actual choices which matter.
Yes.
And who leads the Brotherhood and who is no longer in the Brotherhood is what this choice decides.
Yep.
So there is like a very specific thing within the game where players now have either breached the vault with either the Raiders or the Settlers, and they've either made it so that Shin or Romani is in charge of the Brotherhood in West Virginia. Like, actual choices have been made. And it changes depending on the player. It's not just like, oh, more people went with Romani, so Romani has won overall. Sorry, people who went for Shin.
Because so these are like instanced areas where you as a player are making choices. Of course, you can have people in your team join you, but it's primarily your story going on, which is cool.
They've managed to do some cool stuff with it. Like, especially seeing as a lot of the criticism was like, oh, nothing matters, it's not proper RPG or anything. And then they went, oh, but what if we make, like, some of the biggest choices that are long-lasting and you can't revert?
Mm-hmm.
What if we did that?
Yeah. There's no saves coming in this one. You just gotta make another character.
That's part of, like I mentioned earlier about my video where I was talking about, like, Raiders versus Settlers. Why it was such a hard choice was that I couldn't just back up. I couldn't be like, oh, I didn't like that option, quick load. It was like, oh, I didn't like that option, and I have to live with it.
Yep.
Or create a new character and go through the entire game again.
Yeah. But you do get a pretty sweet gun if you join the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah.
A gun that I still use.
Yep. Yeah. Man, it's slightly annoying how the only, like, difference in rewards on the final mission for Raiders versus Settlers was Raiders got a legendary gun, Settlers got nothing.
Yeah.
And, like, an outfit, which no one wears.
Yeah. Because, like, you could get the Chinese stealth armor no matter what.
Yep. Yeah.
Or Chinese stealth suit thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, by the way.
It's very good.
It lets you wander around in a nuke zone without a helmet.
Yeah, it does.
I was like, I would love a radiation suit where I could wear my headlamp at the same time. Boom. Chinese stealth armor. Who cares if my head melts off? I have a hard hat with a light on it. So great. Okay, so do you want to talk about some fun memories? Why don't we go down memory lane a little bit?
Ooh,
Sarge?
sure.
Let's do that.
What fun memories do you have?
So was Nuclear Winter removed this year? Well, 2021.
Yes.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was removed in 2021. I think it was relatively early on. Like, it's been a while it's gotten now. But I don't think it's been over a year. So yeah. Nuclear Winter said bye-bye.
Yeah. So we have those memories that new players will never get to experience.
Yeah.
Firsthand. I have footage of me, you, and Jared, and who else? I think Hunter was with us for some of it, right?
Could be. I've played Nuclear Winter with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, most of my multiplayer stuff within 76 was Nuclear Winter, I think.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of that was just a whole bunch of fun. When we got down to that clutch moment, I blew them up with a car and a grenade launcher. That was really fun. That was a fun time.
Nice.
The only reason I remember that is because I do have footage of it.
Yeah, I've got like a folder saved of Fallout 76 Nuclear Winter footage, and I can never delete any of it.
Yeah,
I can never delete any of it. Also, I was quite good at Nuclear Winter, which was very nice. Because the game didn't have that many people playing, it meant that you didn't need to be that great a skilled FPS person to be, like, top tier.
Yeah, that part was nice.
Because it was generally lots of people trying it out a little bit. Oh, I've got some unorganized footage. Is that with you? It is! It's with you!
Hey!
Oh, and it's weird because I hit play on it and I heard your voice.
It's me talking to me.
Yeah, oh man, there's beautiful, beautiful moments inside of it.
Oh, cool.
Like, the scope lever action rifle, doming people with that, always felt so satisfying.
Oh, Eric. I forgot Eric. Eric was like a pro at Nuclear Winter. A pro
Eric
bush
got
Wookiee.
like heavy into it towards the end.
Yeah.
I will say though, the whole bush Wookiee thing, I didn't enjoy that. The way they did XP inside of Nuclear Winter, I think, was bad. Because it was just, the longer you survive, the more XP you get. You kill people, you get a tiny boost. And it led to, like, people who wanted to hit, like, level 100 and get all the rewards, just hidden bushes.
Yeah.
Because it was by far the fastest way to
survival
level up.
XP was outnumbering and more of a sure thing than kill XP.
Like, I was someone who won maybe a third of all the matches I played, like, came in number 1 slot, like, did really, really well, and I never hit level 100. But people who probably played for about the same amount of time as me and just hid, just found quite an easy way to do it. And a lot of people then ended up AFKing, and they really needed to rework the XP to de-incentivize the whole just hide to win thing. I think that was something it did bad. and hacking. That was also very bad.
Yeah, hacking was pretty bad.
Man, if I didn't include like the matches with hackers, I probably would have had an over 50% win ratio.
Wow.
Like if I just ignore all of those, then it'd be like, yeah, I won most of my matches. Because the hackers on PC was always a pain. Like you just every once in a while have someone flying underneath the ground and headshotting everyone.
Yep.
And then it led to like suspicion with like more sneaky hackers, and you're like, did that person just get a lucky headshot on me, or are they hacking? They got an aimbot, and that was an annoying thing about Nuclear Winter.
Yeah.
But despite that, it still was very fun.
Yeah,
it worked well as a more casual battle royale game.
It's the most balanced we had ever seen 76.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah. It gave 76 a PvP option, which wasn't just, I have got the best gun for a random drop.
Oh, yeah.
And I have consumed 500 Nuka-Cola Quantums.
Yeah.
Which I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
I like balanced PvP. I hate PvP where people start at different levels.
An even playing field? Interesting.
Yep.
That's what Nuclear Winter was, for the most part.
Yeah. Like, it did have the cards, which uneven things a fair bit, and frog legs. It's still annoying. People just jumping constantly.
Yeah.
But it was still decent fun.
Yeah, that was a fun time. I remember that there was a lot of different building challenges and streams and stuff that you did too.
Yeah.
For camps and stuff like that. I do like the camp system a bit more so than the settlement system.
Okay.
Because they're a lot more contained in 76.
You get to kind of just build where you like, for the most part.
And now you have camp slots where you can like disable one and then start up another without losing all the stuff you built. So it's very much the vision of building where you want it being possible instead of having, specific land masses.
Yeah. I really hope that for like Fallout 5, as a single player Fallout game, we'll get a combination of settlements and camp. So like settlements dotted around the map, but you also have a camp you can like pick up and move with you.
Kind of like workshops versus camps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a great fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? The workshop defend events that popped up in 76, like I genuinely think they could work well in single player better than multiplayer. Because I feel like the biggest like downside to them in the multiplayer thing was workshops with a PvP area. So people often just didn't do the events because they were scared someone was going to come and attack them.
Yeah.
While they were being swarmed by mole rats or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those events were like cool in theory. Just didn't work so well.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about... We already kind of talked about Fallout Worlds, right?
I think we mentioned it.
The Battle Pass. They're the seasons or whatever.
Seasons, yeah.
Scoreboard, that thing.
I don't hate the scoreboard, but I do think it's the kind of thing where it's only if you're someone who already really enjoys playing on like a daily basis that it gives you any real benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not a reason to play the game, it's just rewards for already playing the game you were going to play kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, while I was still playing, I worked hard to, like, max out the season pass, and it got me playing a little bit more and doing some specific things, but as soon as I decided, I'm not really going to play this much anymore, the scoreboard instantly just was irrelevant. Because earning, like, a new thing to put in my camp, or some carry weight boosters, or, like, some caps, doesn't matter if you're not really playing the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true.
And I do feel like the current stage of 76 is all the stuff that is being added isn't stuff that will bring new people in or old people back. It's just giving the odd thing for current players to get on with.
Yeah. Quality of life stuff that thankfully has finally been added.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't do the Mothman event at all. Did you?
I didn't either. Nope.
Okay. Did you?
I didn't bother jumping in for it.
Anybody listening, did you do the Mothman event? How was it? What did you think? Also, Dr. Zorbo is the season 7, and I haven't looked at the rewards for that yet.
I don't know what the rewards have been since like the 3rd scoreboard.
Okay, well, I'm kind of wondering if they've relaxed a bit on having the ultimate reward being power armor, or if they're still giving way too much power armor. Power armor skins, I should specify, for those who don't play 76. They are skins.
I can't see it. Oh, there is the community calendar though, and I'm just seeing if there's anything really cool coming up. Oh no, bonus challenge week, script surplus, double score, purveyor sale. It's all just kind of for January, February, and March. It is all just like stuff we've seen before, pretty much. Mm-hmm. There's a double mutations thing, which is new, but it doesn't look like it's a big thing.
Double mutations? That's for Daily Ops, isn't it?
That might be for Daily Ops, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's something we have seen before.
Yeah.
There is nothing new coming for the next few months. Yeah. Like I say, 76 has just kind of hit the point where the people who are playing will just keep on playing. The people who aren't too interested just aren't interested. Yeah. And you see that? I've got the Steam charts up for it now. And I think 76 in particular is tough to judge through Steam players because it launched on Steam like a year and a half after it came out on the Bethesda store. Like...
Oh yeah, I'm not sure Bethesda store exclusive for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm really not sure how, like, what percentage of PC players are actually on Steam playing it, as opposed to on the Bethesda store or on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because free on Game Pass, obviously.
Yep.
You've got that, so it's hard to say, but for the average player, it's like last 30 days was 6,500, then just under 6,500, and just over 7,000, just over 7,000, a little over 8,000. And then, yeah, back down to 7,000, 5,000. There was a real dip in like March and April, but it seems like 6 to 8k average players is pretty much the standard for 76 now, which isn't like many, but once again, it's also hard to tell how many of the player base that is, due to the very strange, like, multi-platform thing this has. But, like, it feels like it's hit the point where it's not gaining players or losing players at a particularly high rate. It's just the people who are left are the people who enjoy this whole world and how this whole formats.
Yeah. We should end it off, if you're ready to finish off the topic, on how good the 76 community is as a whole.
Yes.
It's one of the best communities I've been a part of in an online kind of format. Like, you'll find the most helpful people in Fallout 76. Like any other game, like we were talking about hackers earlier, like there's trolls every once in a while. But like generally you'll just find good, helpful people.
A huge strength of the game is that it empowers like the regular players to do nice things and be helpful and friendly. Like the emote wheel just means you can give thumbs up and hearts, which people do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
People leave gifts for each other because you can just drop stuff on the ground. Just small little nice things can be done very easily in 76. And I think that, like, on the internet as a general, the people who are most likely to go out of their way to, like, post comments and stuff are often those who have, like, negative things to say rather than positive.
Yes.
But inside of the game, you realise that all the negative people I'm used to seeing in the community are just the people who have decided to, like, speak up because they're annoyed. Whereas most people are, like, happy and friendly and kind.
Yes.
And 76 does a really good job of showing that.
Well, on the topic of like internet posts and whatnot, I see on the Fallout 76 subreddit still fairly often somebody saying thank you to whichever stranger dropped a whole bunch of goodies in front of them, like right after they started their game. Because since it's not randomized where you start, it's pretty easy to figure out where people go to at the very beginning. So if you, and like me, many other people have made their high level camps around the Wayward. So if they see new players just by looking out their window or on their front porch or whatever, they just stroll down there, drop a whole bunch of stuff for them, give an emote, and then leave. Like, and they do that fairly often, and it's awesome. Yeah, really, really cool. But one of the other,
I was able to give away everything I owned.
Yes, you were.
My characters.
I was there. That was fun. That was entertaining.
That was
speaking of memories.
It took a bit of voice chat, but it worked.
Yeah.
I dismantled my entire player home and gave away every single item in my inventory. That was fun.
Pretty great. Yeah, but also I was talking about community stuff because the creative side of the community has also been kind of spotlighted by Bethesda regularly, where they have different like monthly challenges or something like that. Or themes that they go for, and they're like, hey, build your camp based on this theme, and then people would put up, you know, their creations. One of the ones was aliens and UFOs, and somebody straight up built a UFO as their camp, and it just looks like something out of Mothership Zeta. Like it looks great. Somebody did a crop circle, which is pretty awesome as well. Looks like they made it with, what do they even make that with? Just shrubs, I think. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Very involved community, and I like the 76 community because of their kindness and how involved they are with creativity. I think that's cool. But something else that's cool is the games we've been playing besides 76.
Oh. Okay, though. What have you been playing?
I was gonna ask you.
Oh. Caedo, I don't care about what you've been playing. Ask me what I've been playing.
Sarge, gee whiz, what have you been playing?
I haven't actually been playing that many games recently, I've realised.
Oh.
Yeah. I've kind of been watching movies and anime and YouTube and stuff more than playing games. But I have still played some games. Recently, Celesta I got into, which was mentioned a year ago on the PIPCAST, and which I recently stumbled across and was like, wow, here's a game I've never heard of and no one who I'm friends with has talked to me about.
Totally.
I better check this out. So I played it and loved it because it's single-player D&D. And then after that, and after mentioning that I enjoyed that, there was a magic spellcast, and Divinity Original Sin 2 was suddenly in my Steam library.
Yes.
So I played a bit of that as well. And I will say I prefer Celesta to Divinity Original Sin 2. And the thing which does it for me is that Celesta has squares you walk over. And things are measured in squares. So it's like 12 squares range. I'm like, perfect, nice and simple. DOS 2, as I'm going to call it now.
DOS 2.
Yep. Has you move like 0.1 meters. Oh, 2 meters is 1 action point worth of movement, and it's like a kind of finicky movement and a little bit more freeform, which I'm not as big a fan of. And I've realised that is like the big difference between the two, and why I lean more towards Celesta than DOS 2. But both are good games.
We have yet to play it co-op.
Yes, we haven't played it co-op, and I am looking forward to the co-op. Like, I feel like it's going to be a lot more enjoyable for me in a co-op setting, because then I won't be like focusing on all of these different people at once. I'll just be like, I am myself. Everyone else is everyone else. Whereas in Celeste, because it's a bit more simplified, being 4 different characters, or maybe 6 different characters, depending on if you've got like temporary companions, is a lot more manageable because it's a nice simplified and kind of easy numerical system to work out. And that I quite enjoy. Celeste is very good for single player. Hopefully DOS 2 is going to work out better in a multiplayer setting.
Yes. And I believe you can split your group however you want to. It's the players basically have
means.
command over like whichever ones are still NPCs if it's not if it's not all 4 players playing.
Okay.
So
well, there's going to be like 3 of us playing, right?
Maybe. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I vote for me just controlling one person and not getting overwhelmed.
Should give you just one companion.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be.
I'm gonna be the noob, okay?
Who's your main character? Is it Fane or?
Oh, Fane. Yeah, Fane's the skeleton wizard person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fane I like. As like one of the preset characters.
Yeah.
But obviously I'll be playing as my own skeleton person.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Come on. You think I'm going to pick a predetermined character? No.
Okay.
I create my own characters.
The predetermined characters in Divinity Original Sin 2 actually have really cool stories tied into the game. So there is
that's
incentive.
why they're good NPCs for me to come across.
Yep.
Companions to have with me.
Companions, yes.
But I'm making my own character. Because screw playing as someone else's thing. God, I hate that.
They also have freeform character builds, so you can.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the things that other games kind of lack. Like Wasteland 3 doesn't even have that. With the pickup companions, you can pick up companions in Divinity 2, and like choose their archetype completely or choose their class. However you want.
I found a bit weird. I pretty much just gave everyone default in the fear that I'd make like a terrible character.
You definitely can. Like. You can definitely make a terrible character. Yeah. It is one of those games. But yeah, it's a fun game. Look forward to us playing it. Maybe getting some highlights. Maybe.
I will say that despite not playing too many games recently, I will have uploaded yesterday. Does this go out? It goes out on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yes, yesterday I will have uploaded a video. What? Wait, what? It goes at some point on the 1st of 2022, I will have uploaded a video talking about the best games I played in 2021.
Yeah.
Which I made the video like a day or so ago, and now I'm seeing like everyone on YouTube post the same kind of video idea. And they're all doing it before me, and I'm like, but I already made mine, and it's scheduled for the 1st. I even open it by saying that it's 2022 now, so I can't release it early.
Yep.
So I'm going to be a bit late to that. But I talk over like the 5 games I enjoyed playing the most in the year, and I give a few honourable mentions. So if you want to hear me talk more about other video games, that video exists on my channel.
That's awesome.
That's only if you want to listen to me talk too much. If you want to listen to me talk the correct amount, then keep listening, because I'm not going to say anything else. Caedo's speaking now.
What am I speaking about, Sarge? I don't...
It's games you've been playing.
Games I've been playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I play a little bit of Noida. Needed some masochism in my life. And that's a masochistic game where you play as a little wizard in a pixel world, and it's a roguelike, and you cast spells, customize wands, and try to go as far down as you can, then explore, and then die. That's Noida.
Yay!
And all the particles are simulated and blah blah blah. Things catch on fire. Fire will likely kill you all the time. Anyway, something I also played with, kind of, was a Mr. Handy model that it's basically a Lego model, like a custom build that came with its own instructions and stuff like that. But these are mock blocks, which are basically just Legos without the branding. But this was, and I talked to Kite about it already, this was a gift from Kite, which I like after I built it, but the building process was kind of not fun. Like, to the point of my fingers hurting trying to like pull apart these blocks and put them together and stuff like that. Just some really unintuitive design choices that you wouldn't expect from something that was official Lego, if that makes sense. Because if you've built anything with Lego and their instructions are very easy to understand, for one, but also they use as few parts as possible to get the look that they want. Like, they have quote unquote master builders, I think that's what they're called, to figure this stuff out so it can be, you know, fairly easy to construct for anyone. Whereas this was, you know, something fully custom by someone, and there were these like tube bendy bits that attached to each other, kind of like bionicle joints almost, and those were like the center of the round bit of the Mr. Handy, and I had no idea why that was decided on. I don't know if I'm explaining it right. Anyway, it was heck to put together, and if that thing drops from anywhere high up, it'll just explode. It's not structurally sound either. Which is fine, because it's just going to be sitting somewhere looking nice instead of being played with. So yeah, so that's cool. It looks cool. I might, since we're gonna like have gameplay happening on screen, which is a new thing that
you've confirmed it now, can't back out of it.
We decided at the very beginning, if it doesn't take forever to render, we're gonna have gameplay on the screen once the first bit of the outline goes up. And then after that,
I mean, you're saying it at a point where everyone's already seen it or it hasn't worked.
Yeah. My brain's just going with the flow. That's how it goes. And finally, to the surprise of myself and many others, I'm sure, I have finally been playing Morrowind proper.
When all unique Sky Caedo, why Let's Play not done yet? Are you streaming it, Caedo? Where's Morrowind content? Why haven't you made it yet? Caedo, Morrowind, Cliff Racer,
It's a joke, but Sarge was pantomiming what my brain does.
Yep.
Because he knows.
Yeah.
He knows the feeling, too.
Oh, you like a thing. Why isn't it part of your job?
Why aren't you making
you
stuff
cannot just
on it?
enjoy something. This must be
Why
work.
are you wasting time?
Oh god, why are you wasting time? Dude, yesterday, I got through stuff like too quickly because I'd worked really hard the day before. Like, I just edited for like 10 hours straight or something.
Oh, wow.
And then like the next day I was just like, wait, I've got my work done. But it's not bedtime yet. Oh no. No.
It's a curse.
Yeah.
Once you start making content, it doesn't shut off when you want it to.
It's the double-edged sword of being your own boss. You can work as much or as little as you like, but all the time you're not working, you're constantly just hanging out with your boss who wants you to work.
Thinking about working. That's anytime I leave the house, too. Like, if I'm at the house, I could just sit here and do almost nothing. But then as soon as I leave, I'm just like, I gotta do something.
I'm the complete opposite. Like, when I'm out of the house, I'm fine.
Oh.
And when I'm in the house, I'm like, well, I have to be working. I can't relax in this place. This is the place where I work. So, you know, the past 2 years have been super fun.
Yeah, I bet. Anyway, Morrowind.
Yep.
It's an old Elder Scrolls game.
It sure is. I think that's the only neutral sentence you'll be allowed to say on it without the internet doing anything.
Yep.
You want to give a good versus bad sentence now? Or?
I don't think I can, because like, this is one of like the genre-defining games. Like, when first-person role-playing went into a 3D plane. So like, when I was trying to think about
it was definitely a very important step.
Yes, absolutely. So when a game like Morrowind is breaking so much ground, some things that I expect now from games were only just being discovered in Morrowind when they were making it. So for what it is, and being someone who plays older games a lot. I can definitely appreciate the parts that were experimental.
Yeah.
But there's also some things that really annoy me, like because I don't even know if Havoc was even used. Basically, physics weren't entirely a thing.
Yeah.
So I've gotten stuck on so many objects in Morrowind just by going off of the marked path only a little bit. Like even stairwells, if you go up to the ridge of the stairwell, like you can get stuck. And I'm like, this is awful.
Oh dear. Does toggle clipping work?
Yeah, you can definitely like toggle clip or like there's other spells that are like really cool, but fast travel kind of made obsolete, so like they don't exist anymore. But there's Mark and Recall, which allows you to basically town portal, kind of. But place the portal wherever you want, and then just pop back to that location whenever you need to. As well as Divine something, which is another portal spell that just takes you to the nearest shrine or nearest temple, so you can get rid of whatever ailments you have.
Okay.
And I've been using like that trifecta of spells just to like get around much more quickly.
Yeah.
Because it's really helpful, as well as like the Silt Striders and the boats. Like they have plenty of options for getting around. You just have to find them.
That's good.
The chance to hit obviously is really antiquated.
Yeah.
So I min-maxed my Nord warrior type character to use axes and be very good at it. So axes is the first skill I maxed out, just so I could hit everything just in case. And after a certain point, it's gotten to the almost Skyrim-esque experience where I'm just going into a dungeon, wiping everything out, and then leaving with a couple of goodies that I found in the loot. This is before end chests were a thing too, so like I've gone into several dungeons that just don't have anything loot worthy in them. Which is very strange when you go back to a game like this. Like there's no the reward was the adventure. No, I want stuff. Also learning from like various how to play and tutorial type things, just vague like tips and tricks and whatnot, like knowing that you can completely break the game with just some different skill usage or exploits and stuff like that. You know, all kind of have how Skyrim has like the restoration glitch.
Yeah.
Also levitation is a thing.
Yes.
Which allows you to just fly wherever. Which is cool. Vivek City is an absolute nightmare of a city to wander around. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to get down from one of the main buildings except for just jumping. And it turned out that like the ramps to the like base floor were on the outside instead of inside where all the stairwells were. Man, it's just such a confusing layout for a building. Overall, I was still having fun getting to know some of the characters, also seeing some characters that well, at least one character that did come back in Skyrim, which was Master Neloth, the Telvanni wizard. Yeah.
Yes.
He's in he's very old, apparently. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000-something years old. Wow, what an old man.
Elves live for a long time.
He looks good for a bazillion years old. Yeah. Been a pretty fun time. I'm looking forward to seeing what all the hubbub's about. I haven't gone through much of the main story. Like it's mainly been exploring and doing the side missions for the Fighters Guild and Thieves Guild and stuff like that. So, but I'm sure the best is yet to come.
Yep.
For sure.
Very soon you'll realize why it's the greatest game ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And that it has nothing to do with having played it as a child that makes it the greatest game ever played.
Oh no.
Just like how our favourite games definitely aren't. Yep.
I know that for a fact.
None of our favorite
Not at
games
all.
are the games we played growing up.
No.
Fallout 2 and Final Fantasy 9 just happened to be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know why everyone can't see that.
Yeah. And Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, you're putting Final Fantasy 7 as your favorite. I thought it was Fallout 2. But I guess Fallout 2 sucks.
Fallout 2 is my favorite Fallout game.
You were right, Mr. Jarvis. Fallout 2, worst game ever. Caedo has confirmed it.
Yep. Fallout 2 is the old school Adam RPG.
Oh.
Too much pop culture. Not enough game.
All right.
Call it here.
Well,
do the outro.
I mean, we could do We Love You and We're Sorry, but that'll just be strange.
Thank you for listening to this nonsense podcast with me and Bad Company Sarge. Really appreciate it. Check out his stuff if you're interested in some. Well, recently it was a lot of Skyrim builds, right? For anniversary. Yeah.
So much Skyrim.
Mm-hmm. And for me, well, I've done some Skyrim stuff too. Primarily guides.
It's almost like Skyrim just came back out again.
Yep. Beyond that, we have Starfield to look forward to. So we'll see what happens when that occurs.
Less than a year to wait.
Anywho, thanks to my patrons, including Wasteland Legends, Sven, and David Hoover. I really appreciate you guys.
Ooh.
Thank you. And we'll see you all in the next PIPCAST 3000 2 weeks from now, 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday. Bye.